Hello, everyone. This is JPL, and today I'm joined with
Christopher.
yes, and weird podcast name
Podcast
in
name in
brackets.
brackets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, Christopher, how are you doing today?
Um, Not too bad. Despite it being like evening, I kind of just woke up a few hours ago because
See,
I suck at going to sleep. Um,
I feel that.
or like I like staying up, but I really need to shift to like waking up in the morning.
Mm.
So we'll see how things go.
I had very little sleep last night
Oh,
for a couple reasons. Um, One is because of something that I'll talk about later.
okay.
The other one is I was working on a assignment for Gershner where we're doing the bipolarities thing.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I did so
Oh
many
my
projects
gosh,
with
you
him.
don't remember what bipolarities are?
Well, there's two elements. Either I've never done it before
You
because
have
assignments
you
come in or out, or number two,
have
I don't remember it.
you have they're very important. They're sound qualities, volume, pitch, timbre, speed, that sort of thing.
Okay, sounds important.
It is important. It's reduced listening. Uh, anyway, the assignment is just like find sound effects and compare them for these qualities. It's a simple thing. He gave us his sound library to work with, which is so much stuff.
It's like 5 GB, right?
It's 5 GB. I
Yeah.
think that his labeling system could be slightly better.
Well, I wonder, did he label it, or is that just something he owns? You know what I mean? And I feel like it's more or
Like
less something he owns.
he did label things, and he owns it. But I feel like you could go a step further, because in folder 10, you have cars and stuff, but
Uh,
then
uh,
folder like 60 something, you have more cars and
mhm.
stuff in between. It's like, oh, you just fold them
the
together.
the PDF document is very helpful, though.
It is very helpful. Very helpful. It's how I got through
So
that
lots of
assignment.
them. But what I do hate about that library is like the different qualities of like different sound effects. Like some sound worse than others.
Right. Yeah. I sent you another. I sent you like a clip of one of
I
my.
meant to listen to it and I didn't get to it.
Go ahead. It's 16 seconds. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah. It's a surprise mix down where the thing is like you bring in surprise.
Okay. Just a moment.
Uh,
Loading.
I don't think I did it properly. Oh no, I did it. But like my surprise is less as a surprise, but more so built to a surprise. Did you? Did you listen to it? Are you listening? Yes. Yeah, that was a note. That was something he talked about. Was that very last scream? It's like, oh, like he was laughing. It's like, oh, oh, it's a good thing you have these libraries. That way you can look for different screams and such. But like, instead of having a joyful scream, try looking for like terror. And like, that was the only male scream I could find because it was all female,
Right.
and I wanted diversity.
Oh, that is hilarious.
I put more effort into that small thing than I really should have.
Yeah, he probably thought you could put in more effort though, but
I had like 15, 16 tracks just for that 15 second.
oh, that's
15
nice.
second. I
That's
just
nice.
I just kept listening to it, and it's like, I just was scrolling through the PDF, and it's like, oh, look at this sound effect. Hmm. Oh, perfect. That goes. Honestly, I could get out. I could probably delve even further with
Mm-hmm.
this thing. But that's like too much. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Again, I had little sleep, so right now I'm gonna try and fight to stay awake, try and sound energetic, and not like you normally do.
So I feel
Joke.
like today it might be reversed.
That was a joke.
Oh,
I was making a joke about you always being tired.
oh,
Um, but anyway,
okay.
Anyway, Christopher, we have a big show to talk about today.
Do we?
We have things to talk about.
Do we?
Yes. First things first. Let's talk about some stuff that we weren't able to fit into last episode, and it's going over what I watched over the past week.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it's
Where
like
this
3,
segment
4
contains
weeks.
this segment is 98% of what John has seen and 2% talking about what I've seen because I don't watch much at all.
Yeah. No, I've done
Like
quite a
like
bit.
you know how much music I listened to in the past week? Your mix. And when did I listen to that mix? An hour ago. So just like I'm terrible at
It's
like
been
trying.
like a month since I gave you that mix as well.
It's true. I
It's like
suck at.
I'm just patiently just building up other mixes, waiting for you to
Hey, I
be done
still
with
am.
this one.
I still haven't. I need to send the K-pop mix. I still haven't done that
Mm.
because I still need to, like, because I have too many songs and I need to split it up or whatever. Yeah, no, I suck. But also like this week was so one thing for me I this week I'm like I really need to try to shift to a morning schedule, but I just have trouble sleeping at night. So then I just end up like coming home from work, trying to sleep but not really able to, and kind of wasting time. And I go to sleep and I wake up before work, and that's kind of been like my whole week. So I haven't really had much time to do like anything.
Uh, yeah. Anyway, I've had this is like entering week 4 of classes now,
Mhm.
so things are going fine. You know how things go.
Yeah.
They go the way they go. Anyway, so what I watched, first thing of the very old list, is that Wolverine anime that I had been watching slowly. Finished that. Um, what I'll say about it is that the plus side of having this is that you get to see Wolverine use his abilities in a way that you can't really show on kids' cartoons, like his healing factor and
Mm.
him being able to slice at people. Um, the downside is anime isn't the best in terms of storytelling
Mhm.
because like their story will stretch out very long. This is a very simple story. It's pretty much the story of the Wolverine, but with less details.
Like the movie The Wolverine?
Yeah, the movie The Wolverine, the
Okay, the
Japanese
stretched out version
thing.
of that with less details.
Yeah, without the Silver Samurai at the end, without him losing his powers. Um, that plus it's like these random fights that happen through half of the show just to have action in the show.
Mhm.
Like half of the show, most of the show you could just cut and you couldn't tell any difference. Um, but overall, I thought it was fine. I did not really like the voice that they had for Wolverine, the dub that is. I told you about this. Like he sounds like an angsty you trying to sound like like an angsty Wolverine.
Oh, did I nail down that voice last time?
I think he almost did. Yeah, when you
Okay.
tried that.
I would try again, but I'm not in the mood to try again because I can't remember
Not
and I'm
in the
scared of
mood.
failing.
Not in the mood.
Not in the mood.
Komiko. I'm Wolverine. Listen to me, bub. You better not try anything. Ugh.
You know what we need next? We need Surfer Wolverine.
Surfer Wolverine.
Yes.
Far out, bub.
But like it's perfect because he'd just be shirtless all the time and he'd love.
Yeah. So anyway, next I had the '90s Iron Man cartoon. You know, it came out the same year as the Fantastic Four cartoon, and it had the same issue in that halfway through they revamped it and it was slightly better. But no, this show was bad. It's so bad. Like the animation is not great.
Mm-hmm.
Like each episode for the first half is the exact same episode. Because like you're facing the exact same villains,
Mm-hmm.
doing the exact same crap, and it's just like so. It's not great to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had the Mandarin, Modoc, and other random characters teamed up together, and they're like not even that much of a threat because they're being beaten every week. And the voice direction is this is one of the worst voice directions I've seen in the kids cartoon, like professional cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so bad. Uh, it's just not great. Also, there's just too many characters. Like for the villain sides, you have like Modoc and Mandarin, plus like 6 other side goons that they have to fit in every week. But this show isn't just about Iron Man. He
Mm-hmm.
has War Machine, Hawkeye,
Oh.
Wanda,
Oh wow.
Spider Woman,
They said let's stack it up.
and some random guy with an axe. And it's like so bad. Like logic doesn't make sense half the time. There's an episode where they believe Hawkeye is a traitor, but like none of that makes sense. The
Mm-hmm.
entire episode. The episode starts with the Mandarin being like, let's frame Hawkeye. But they don't actually do anything to frame Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
Like the good guys are just thinking, man, Hawkeye sucks. He must be a traitor. That's literally how it happens. And
You know what? I actually can see that happening. I'm not gonna lie.
Hawkeye's just minding his own business, being like, what the heck, guys? And then like they capture him and they start thinking, they're like, Hawkeye, these are all your negative qualities. Like why you don't work with a team.
Oh my gosh.
So you must not
Therefore,
be
you
the
must be a
traitor.
traitor.
Like out of the blue, that's their logic. It's like, oh, you do all these things. They're bad for us. By the way, you're not the traitor. And it's just like so bad. Like it just doesn't make any sense. So when they did the revamp in the second half, they like cut all those characters off the show.
Interesting.
Except for Spider Woman, because apparently there was a romance with her.
That was gonna be my question. Who would he be in a relationship with, Spider Woman or Wanda?
Both, actually. For the
Oh
first
my,
half, like
of
they were both
course.
fighting for his love.
Oh,
It was
course.
just so not great. It was so bad. Mm. And then I watched the '90s Silver Surfer show,
Mm-hmm.
thinking that it was part of that animated universe, but it wasn't. And I was pleasantly surprised by this show. That's
Oh wow.
actually really good.
Okay.
It's deep, interesting. Each episode, he brings up these philosophical ideas, like I have all these powers. Do I do this for good, for my own, for bad? Like, what do I do? Um, and it's just like in the first 3 episodes, like they do so much.
Hmm.
It's like we have the Silver Surfer, we have Galactus, we have Thanos,
Oh, Galactus Anthem. Oh my god, that's
Ego's
stacked.
planet, Ego's planet, um, other random characters, uh, and like the cliffhanger. The
Mm-hmm.
show was clearly wanting to do a second season, so like
Mm-hmm.
the last episode of the show caught me by surprise because literally it's like, oh, Thanos is about to literally destroy the entire universe.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Silver Surfer go at each other. The screen turns to white with a text saying "The end?" question mark, and that's how the show ends.
That is so sad.
It's like I it's so crazy how that happened. Um, Next was the Cuphead show because season 2 had dropped.
The
That's
Cuphead show?
yeah, Cuphead show. It's based upon Cuphead the game.
I've never heard of Cuphead before.
Well, it's a game. It's
Okay.
one of the hardest games
Okay.
out there. But they did a show. It's stylized from the cartoons of the 1930s, so like old stuff, and it looks really good. The show's okay. It's your basic cartoons. Um, then we go into Disney Plus Day, which we gave us Cars on the Road, which was like a short mini series about
Were they
cars.
interconnecting or not?
What?
Was this was each episode like its own individual story?
It was, but like they're on a road trip to go somewhere.
Okay.
And so each episode was like a different journey of the road trip. I
Uh-huh.
thought it was cute. It was nothing spectacular, but it
Right.
was still fun.
It's fun for what it is. I
Yeah,
get that.
it gives you the road trip feel.
Yeah. I hadn't seen much of Cars, like only like the first half of the first movie without sound.
Mm,
So maybe one day when I actually get to that Pixar binge,
one day.
maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah. Then I slowly watched and finished the X-Men anime, um, which it was okay.
Hmm.
They were able to tell a darker story, which you don't normally tell, and like there
Hmm.
was tragedy. I was like, this is interesting. It's darker. Again, you have Wolverine being able to do more stuff.
Hmm.
Um, the story drags on a bit. Really, it does. It's not bad. It's okay. All right. There's this, remember that anime that I was watching, and
No,
then
because they're all the same to me.
no,
I'm sorry.
I finished the season, and then they immediately dropped the second season, but it didn't have an English dub.
Hmm.
That was before I came to visit you, and I was like so frustrating. It's like really, why? Anyway,
Kind of remember.
they finally came out with a dub, and that was fun. I enjoyed it.
Good.
All right, the last no, one more. I I rewatched season 1 of The Bad Batch in
Hmm.
preparation for season 2, but we'll get to that.
Oh, that's why you're upset?
So that's why I'm upset.
Because I heard of when it's supposed to release now.
Yeah, that's something. Anyway, what released on Friday was also the new season of Cobra Kai,
Oh, did you get that?
the best soap opera in the world. um, I binged it.
How
That's
many
why
episodes?
it's 10 episodes, about 40 minutes each.
Uh-huh.
I was only planning to watch about 2 a day, but then I just kept watching, and that's
Was
why
it
I
that
had
good?
yes. It's
Oh.
like it's soap opera. Like it just
Uh-huh.
keeps me watching because it's like you have high highs and low lows. Like
Hmm.
whenever something like great is happening for the characters and it's going this way, something just always terrible happens, and it's like no. And then when there's this terrible state, something amazing happens. It's like yes. And there's this cycle that keeps you watching.
Hmm.
And it's great. I love this show. I think I think of the shows going on now. This is probably my favorite one
Hmm.
of stuff that's still going. Uh, it's great. I'd recommend it.
Hmm.
Just Karate Kid people. That's Go watch it. And then one last thing for Disney Plus Day. I watched Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh, for your first time.
Yes,
Frick, I forgot that was your first time. Okay.
that's my first time.
Okay, so well, yeah, just take the wheel.
Take the wheel.
Take the wheel.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Mhm.
Visually, of course, it's like fantastic looking, but um, the jokes didn't hit as hard in this one. I
Mhm.
wasn't as engaged. There are a few ones that are like funny, like the goats screaming. It's it's ridiculous, but it's funny. Um, I just didn't really care for Thor's arc.
Mhm.
Like his arc was great, and then Endgame killed his arc,
Mhm.
and this is just like I don't know. Love was apparently the arc of this film.
Mhm.
Uh, we have Jane. Good to see her back, but I'm sad that she died.
I know.
It's like, what? You have this new character and you kill him off? No.
I was legitimately shocked they did that.
I mean, it's shocking, you know? I liked Christian Bale's gore
Uh-huh.
for the short amount I saw him, but I think that he really should have had more screen time.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, he shows up, and then for most of the film, he's just not there until the end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, no, it could be stronger. I think Jane becoming Mighty Thor could have been introduced better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, instead of Thor accidentally putting that little magic spell on his hammer, he could just be intentionally be like, if something happens, protect Jane.
Mm-hmm.
And that I'd feel better about that. Instead of just like, oh, just this random thing happened. Now she's Mighty Thor. Um, yeah, that's that film.
So I guess my turn on that.
Yeah, your turn.
I feel like I could go at this a few different ways. I actually rewatched it. But also like I wasn't planning to rewatch it, but a friend's like, I'm gonna watch it, rewatch it. You wanna rewatch it? I'm like, fine, I'll join you. I was planning to like edit it while we were rewatching, but I was so tired that I didn't. But I also like wasn't like in a fully like mentally like processing state anyways. To some degree, there were some elements where I did enjoy it a little more the second time, but also was incredibly more disappointed the second time around. I think because the humor in this, I feel like really only hits the first time. But
Yeah,
also,
that's really how I felt about Ragnarok. Is that the humor is like good for a couple times, but then it's just like, oh, okay.
but I feel like the humor in Ragnarok is stronger than Love and Thunder's.
I think so too.
Love
Again,
and
that's people's preference,
mm-hmm.
but Love and Thunder just had so many misses for me.
But the thing is, with the humor of Love and Thunder, it's more on almost shock value, not necessarily like, oh my gosh, that's shocking shock value. It's more like I wasn't expecting that shock value. You know what I mean?
Right.
For example, like the King of Dumplings, that kind of took me out when I was watching it in the theaters. Like my mind broke, and I wasn't sure whether to laugh or scream of how out there it was. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
it obviously didn't get me the second time. You know what I mean?
I just kind of rolled my eyes. It's like, oh,
I thought it was
like,
just
oh, okay.
wild that they had something purely animated right there. That took me out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I heard mixed opinions on the good screaming. Some people hated it, some people loved it. I was more in the middle. I wanted to think it was annoying, but most of the time it ended up making me giggle. But the time that they like slammed into the planet, I lost it because it went boom. I
Yeah.
lost it. Um, yeah, like I did appreciate the few moments of slapstick in here, like Thor destroying the one monument at that one point. That's kind of funny.
I
Um,
wasn't fond of the Stormbreaker being
yeah,
jealous of Mjolnir.
it was a little
Just
weird.
because, like, we had Mjolnir in the endgame and Stormbreaker was fine. Completely fine with that. So, it's just weird
A
little
little weird.
inconsistencies going
Yeah.
on.
I think it should have been a TV show. There were, I don't think they advertised this movie in such a way, but a lot of the MCU lately has been this is the most biggest thing that's happening to the MCU, and it's a must watch. You know what I mean? Eternals, Multiverse of Madness. Eternals technically is. Multiverse of Madness so far doesn't seem like to be. You know what I mean? So, but going into Thor, I had those that expectation. You know what I mean? Oh, they made a movie out of this. Must be a big deal. You know what I mean? It really isn't. like Thor is pretty much on his own journey until he gets roped back into the core events right now, right? It should have been in a TV show.
I
mean,
disagree, but
really?
I don't
Okay.
think it would work. Again, like special effects, big thing.
Yeah, I
Um,
get that, but I'm thinking more of story. You know what I
Even
mean?
then, like the story is still straightforward. That
The, this is my argument.
sure, yeah,
Taika Waititi said that their first cut of the movie was 4 hours long.
mhm.
Both
I could live
multiverse,
with.
both Multiverse of Madness and Love and Thunder are constrained to almost exactly 2 hour runtimes.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, I don't know. And honestly, definitely based off Love and Thunder, I feel like Taika Waititi was probably given a 2 hour runtime by Disney and said you have to squeeze it in this amount of time. Multiverse of Madness, probably, don't know, but I definitely can see that with Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, I feel like the issues run more with Multiverse of Madness in that regard than it does this movie. But one thing a lot of people were excited were, the Guardians of the Galaxy appearing, and that's not even necessarily the core of this movie, which I didn't necessarily expect it to be, but even I was kind of surprised how short that was. Um, this is what I think. We should have had a season of the as Guardians of the Galaxy. Just a fun little TV show. Just a few episodes of them doing their thing, them
Mm-hmm.
doing stupid things, because that'd be a really fun dynamic, right? We had some fun with that in Infinity War / Endgame. What if we saw more of that and them actually having no, worries about Thanos, that just them, doing their own thing for a few episodes. That would have been fun. Then the second season of that could have been what was Love and Thunder. Now, Taika Waititi advertised this movie as being like a road trip movie, which you can only really, while watching it, I don't think you'd realize that. After you watch it, you're like, oh, I can kind of see that because they kind of go from A to B to C to D, E, F to G. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even if the episodes were like 30 minutes, you know what I mean? Like if the first, if there was like one episode at the Greek Pantheon thing, there was an it's like each episode would be like a stop in its road trip journey, almost maybe similar-ish to the Cars. I don't know. I didn't watch it. But like if each episode was like each location kind of thing.
Okay.
And then you'd be able to insert more of what you were able to cut out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then season 3 would be what the title teased of Love and Thunder, the adventures of Thor and his new daughter. Why do I keep touting this to be a TV show? Because it really doesn't affect the MCU. People love Thor enough that they'll watch his adventures, but it really isn't affecting the MCU much at all, at least from what we're seeing. And
It doesn't really need to.
yeah, it doesn't need to, but again, there's just that expectation, and there is an imbalance of now the TV shows are affecting the MCU more than sometimes the movies are. Um, we'll see, but
Mm.
it almost feels like there's that little imbalance right now. Um, I I think we I think it would bring about more of a comic book spirit if you have your comic book with your few amount of pages instead of a big book of a long story. You know what I mean? It'd be fun
Yeah.
if like each book, each chapter, each episode would be its own little story in the classic adventures of Thor. And I feel like that spirit could be more portrayed more. Could be it would be a lot of fun to see as a TV show in comparison to a movie. Um, that's my little TV show spiel like right there because I don't know if Thor and Love could carry a movie. That's another thing. I don't know if they can. They probably could, but I don't know if they can. Um,
I mean, if Logan can, then maybe. Maybe.
yeah, me. But that story is more centralized around Logan. You know what I mean?
Right.
While this, they'll want to have an emphasis on Love. You know,
Yeah.
Love will be her own character in comparison to X-23
Mm-hmm.
trying to be protected by Logan. And let's be honest, X-23 doesn't have that much of a personality. But they're almost setting up Love to have more of a personality. So I don't know how much she'll be able to carry a movie. We'll see. I think
see.
it'll really depend on the story that they'll be able to tell. But again, I feel like how they set themselves up would have been better as a TV show.
Right.
And honestly, would have been more adorable as a TV show.
Speaking of TV shows,
Are we
Rings
moving
of
on from
Power.
Thor?
Rings of Power.
I'm not done with
Okay.
Thor. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. Do
Um,
Thor.
I am also really sad about them killing off Mighty Thor. That was such a shock. Like I did not see them doing that
Right. I
because
was
especially
expecting like, oh, since Thor and her right there with Eternity,
Mhm.
which Eternity and Infinity are both characters in the Silver Surfer show as well. um, it's like, oh, why don't you ask a wish? But no, it's only one apparently.
apparently. Yeah, no, especially with the MCU being more female centric. That was just a surprise just based upon their current direction.
It's the more interesting female character of late.
Hmm?
Is the more interesting female character of late because of just the power that she has
Mm-hmm.
versus everyone else is like little subpar powers.
Like it would be. Let's be honest. I don't feel like Natalie Portman was really able to shine in this movie. Like, it definitely is Thor's movie, hands down.
It is.
But like, she really isn't. But at the same
it's great
time,
to see her back.
yes. But at the same time, I don't fully know she's not. I'm not talking physically. I'm more talking about acting. I don't know if she's built really to play this kind of character. You know what I mean? Because if anything, I feel like her best moments were in the flashback moments.
So, Daryl.
Yes!
Yeah.
I was so happy to see
Saw
that.
him too.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
It's just the most random thing. So now I'm thinking, like, could those shorts be plausible? They probably could. They could be like right after he breaks up with Jane, he goes and lives with Daryl.
I could kind of see something like that. I think they're loosely.
They're loosely, for sure.
Yeah, they're loosely canon.
But like, it'd still be
Not-
fun.
Yeah. So I was really happy they did that, even if it was so short and sadly not enough people know about Daryl, which is so sad to me. But no, that made me very happy. I flipped out when I saw that. So happy.
Yeah.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, he did a good job. The movie didn't do him justice.
No, they really didn't. Because like he has a cool intro in the beginning. It's like, okay, I immediately get his motivation and all that. Then like he disappears, shows up, causes some damage, but is somewhat defeated. And then the rest of the film, he just is not really there until the end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and all the kids with the power of Thor. Oh, it's kind of dumb. But I can see people being epic about that.
Mm-hmm. I didn't mind it too much, but I really. Now, it's not to say I'm a Christian Bale stan or anything, but I'm like, you got Christian Bale, and he was reduced to this.
Reduced to like not that much screen time. For
Really
like a
sad.
villain who just seems really cool and like much a big a threat.
Mm-hmm. However, I will say the shadow cave scene, the shadow like when like they're engulfed by the shadow things,
Yeah.
black and white.
That red.
I loved the intensity of that scene.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. Yeah, I feel because I think I saw that right after Stranger Things. It kind of gave me a Stranger Things vibe. But I just loved the intensity of that scene, and Yeah, I have to say that.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I even if the movie was quote unquote better, I don't think I would think of it being good. You know what I mean? I don't feel like there was I don't think this I don't think I enjoyed the story that much. I don't think like they had enough enjoyable elements that
Mhm.
somehow didn't equal to make an enjoyable movie in the long
Yeah.
run.
Like
Um
Morbius, which is on Netflix and was ranked #1 the day it came out.
that is amazing. I
Mhm.
love that. Oh my gosh.
I haven't seen it yet.
I just love that. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. So, no, again, there's an element where I was kind of just able to appreciate the movie a little more as its own thing the second time watching it, but also the elements that were supposed to make it enjoyable weren't as enjoyable the second time
Mhm.
around. Specifically the humor. Like I barely laughed watching it the second time. Um, and most of the funny points I pretty much knew were gonna happen. Probably like one or two lines that probably got me, but um, I honestly I think if I was to watch Ragnarok again, probably for my third or fourth time, I I I think I would laugh more. I'm not gonna lie. It's not to say that the movie's all about laughing, but because Taika Waititi is directing this, we're all gonna critique. We're all gonna compare it to Ragnarok. Also, Korg wasn't enjoyable in this movie.
He was there. He was all right.
They also tried too hard to make him funny.
A bit, yeah. He had a couple good lines, but I mean, he was there.
Yeah, just sad.
Mm.
I feel like again, there's I, I I do know that they did want to make a different movie, so I can see how this movie is a different movie.
Uh-huh.
However, I feel like there was a lot of pressure to make Korg the funny guy again, and he just
Yeah.
wasn't funny.
Right. Yeah.
In a general sense, especially in comparison to Ragnarok.
Of
So,
course. Of course.
um, all right.
Yeah.
Speaking of TV shows,
Can I? Yeah. Can we?
yes, yes, you can.
Rings of Power. Yes.
Yes,
The Lord of the Rings TV show came out.
yes.
We're 3 episodes in. It is one of the best looking shows out there, for sure. Looks gorgeous. It is really slow. It is really slow. And if you have no idea of a hint about what's going to happen, it is not that interesting. Like I know briefly about some things. And so when they mention small details, I'm like, ooh, we're doing this? Like, oh, I want to see that. But
Mhm,
then it just takes so long. Like the third one, I think was better because they introduced a new character. That's very important.
mhm,
But it's like, oh, I'm waiting for things to kick off. We're 3 hours into the story already, and
mhm.
nothing has happened.
And the story is what? 10 episodes?
8.
8. Oh, it is 8. Okay.
It's 8.
But still, that's
It's
crazy.
like 30 minutes into both Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. You knew what the plot was.
Right.
I have no idea what the plot is here. It's like we're going around to these different characters all over the land. They're all doing their own thing. They're gonna connect at some point, but it's like there's no plot. So I'm just waiting for something to happen.
Mhm,
Um, I also learned something very interesting. We were we were talking earlier about the rights, the Lord of the Rings rights being
mhm.
sold to this studio,
Sold to Amazon?
not to Amazon, to this
To
different studio
another studio.
to be able
Yes.
to make whatever they want.
Yes.
The Amazon show does not have the rights to Tolkien's work. Only the appendices for Return of the King, which is like this short thing with very vague descriptions. So all of these cool details that people are thinking is from this grander lore is just like one sentence from the appendices that they're pulling in. And nobody knows this.
So essentially, they have like no rights.
Like they have rights to like the most loosely vague thing, but they don't have the rights to the good stuff. Essentially,
So they spent $250 million on one sentence.
appendices. Like they're able to negotiate to like get some more details from other stuff, but let's like it's just the appendices. And you're making a whole show where you're putting in practically $1 billion into this. Why do I feel like the show is so slow? Because they don't have much of a plot because they can't get the plot of the Silmarillion. Just the appendices of Return of the King. And so the rights being sold to the different thing makes so much more sense. Because like they're being able to use the full thing. And something else I learned. In about 20 so years, the first publication of The Hobbit will become public domain.
Sorry, in 20 years?
In 20 some years. 20 to 30 years.
Will they be able to renew it or not?
It's a bit tricky. The rule is like 70 years after the passing of the writer, but that rule does not apply for works that were written before the rule was made. Apparently. So if it does become public domain, can you imagine all the stuff we're gonna get? It's gonna be wild. Make this happen.
I mean, we already got our Winnie the Pooh horror movie. Who knows what else we're going to think of?
Winnie the Pooh horror movie. This looks so dumb.
Are you going to watch it?
No. It doesn't look as interesting as Willy's Wonderland. Is the other thing. But we also had a couple episodes of She-Hulk this past year.
Yes. We talked about the first two episodes before, right? Now it's episodes 3 and 4.
We briefly talked about them, and I had mentioned that the first two episodes, the second episode is the technical first episode.
Mm-hmm.
That was supposed to start with the ending of the first episode, with the more, because the second episode feels so empty as an episode.
The second episode, you said?
Yeah, it feels empty because we don't have the inciting crisis. It's just like it's not an episode. It's just continuation of what happened at the ending of the last one. 2 and 3, there are more episodes. They're okay. 4 I enjoyed, but like the Ghost Rider thing, I was just so that whole tease where everybody thought it's like, oh, Johnny Blaze, it's Ghost Rider. Then the episode's like, no, it's Donnie Blaze. They knew what they were doing.
Of course they do.
They knew what they were doing.
So actually, I enjoyed episode 3 more than episode 4. Okay. But I think the important thing to note is episodes 3 and 4 is more of what I've wanted to see from the show.
Yeah, it really is.
Now, while I still don't think the show is that great,
no,
this is still what I've more or less wanted.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. I'm happy that the show is essentially informed now
about the show.
Huh?
CJ is not happy at all.
Yeah, I saw.
I'm not entirely sure he knows what the show is about, so we'll see.
I mean, here's the thing. I knew it was going to come with that territory.
It would.
You know what I mean? I knew this is essentially what the show is going to be. I find it funny that, everyone was upset about just, a bunch of female superhero characters. Like, oh, Marvel's so feminist. And then She-Hulk comes out. It's like, this is the epitome of feminism in the MCU. Like, Captain Marvel almost fails in comparison. You know what I mean?
It really does. Like, there is no good male character in this show.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Like, Pug is the only one, but I have a suspicion that he's actually a bad guy.
Who is Pug again?
Pug is like the nice lawyer, the only nice lawyer at work.
Okay. Yeah, so, like, I don't know. Like, I kind of knew from the get-go-ish, at least before I started watching the show, that it was going to be the epitome of feminism. Sure. And you know what? That's what the show's going to be. Kind of thought. Like I can have my thoughts on whatever, but it's fun to see a different perspective sometimes. So that is what the show is going to be. So to you people who are crying out about Kate Bishop or whatever, it's like this that's nothing. But at the same time, like I saw like something that said the other day, people have said about She-Hulk twerking. What about the time in the comics when she jumped rope naked? So like now I think there's an element that well it's more or less like
twerking was so dumb.
It is, but at the same time it's also funny.
Point. It wasn't even funny.
Well, it's funny because it's random. You know what I mean? It's stupid. It's funny because it's stupid. You know what I mean?
It's not even that funny. It's just like, oh, twerking.
But it's like that is what the character is. That is,
Sure.
I don't know. It's not
really important that we have She-Hulk twerking. No.
Well, would you want to see other things that happen in the comics? So I feel like that's the least of the worst. You know what I mean? So plus that's a post-credit scene. What the that's
none of the post-credit scenes have been great.
Yeah, I mean, not to say I've liked them. I'm just saying but they're post-credit scenes. You know what I mean? They're discarded scenes.
Wong has a girlfriend now.
I don't like that.
I mean, it's not really official that they're.
I know, but I don't like.
It was kind of funny, but not.
Like it's funny for the one episode, but if it continues, I'm not gonna enjoy it.
Funny. It's like what is this random girl, drunk girl?
Yeah, I like
who everyone is like theorizing is like, is she Ghost Rider because she went through the hell thing, like made a deal with the devil. That's literally what happens.
Yeah. I think there's an element where we kind of see how and what the show is at this point, but we're still not done with it. I'm just watching it for what it is, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, okay, the CGI is kind of uncanny. That's actually one thing I want to talk about. Because you were upset about Moon Knight. Like, oh, Moon Knight only appears at the end of the episode. But the show's about Moon Knight, but we don't see Moon Knight. And in this show, we actually more or less see She-Hulk.
Yeah, we do. Plus, she's a lawyer.
I
wish the show is that she's a lawyer.
I honestly wish that went down more that Moon Knight route. Simply because how uncanny it does look seeing her just
I have no problem with the CGI. It looks fine. It's not great. It works for what it needs to be.
But I just don't love it. I'm not great with this.
I would dislike the show so much more if it took the Moon Knight route.
Really?
Because like She-Hulk should. They've already deviated so far, but She-Hulk is always in her Hulk form because she feels that that's her superior self. So,
I don't know. I kind of just like just seeing Jennifer as Jennifer, I guess.
Sure.
But especially the fact that she's like, I don't want to be such a popular lawyer. Then you don't have to be She-Hulk.
They're both the same character in this show.
Were they like more different characters?
I mean, there was a bit more. I mean, they're the same, but from what I understand is like Jennifer was more insecure, whereas She-Hulk was her empowerment.
Mm-hmm. That would be
And there was
interesting if they went down that route, but they didn't.
If they didn't, it would have been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be female power. Be like, oh heck yeah, I don't have to be She-Hulk to be empowered.
Mm-hmm.
But no,
Yeah.
it's just.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, again, like I'm just kind of like taking the show as it is, and like at this point, I'm not gonna get what I dreamed of, and I'm okay with that.
I mean, I'm still waiting for my Daredevil.
Okay, so actually, I have news about that.
Mm.
It's only one episode.
Oh, I figured.
Okay.
Yeah, I
But
figured.
yeah, Charlie Cox confirmed a day or two ago, like it's just one episode. So.
No, it makes sense.
Well, I guess with the Wong thing, I also kind of more or less almost expected Wong to just be one episode, but now we have 2 episodes with him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, that almost opens the door a little more.
Yeah,
but
like Daredevil's in New York and She-Hulk is over in LA. Mm-hmm. So
I will say, I do like how the show is being more of individual episodes.
I know, I'm liking that too.
I'm enjoying that so much.
The first few, which are not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But like episodes 3 and 4 kind of being their own things. Like I am enjoying that a lot.
Mm.
And then obviously Daredevil's gonna have his episode. So yeah, this is fun.
My guess was episodes 5 and 6 when Daredevil was going to show up. I
have a feeling at this point you're gonna be right.
It might be 7, 6 and 7.
Really?
Yeah, it might be.
I feel like because if we're gonna end up with some thing at the end, I feel like around that point we're going to be more building up to that. You know what I mean?
Because like tomorrow, like episode 5 is probably going to deal with a lawsuit. Episode 6 or 7, I think, is going to deal with a character called Frogman, which might be over in New York. We'll see.
What lawsuit?
What do you mean lawsuit? What do you mean what lawsuit? For trademark infringement of the She-Hulk brand.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, with Titania.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's stupid crap.
Also, I wish there was more 4-4 breaking. I guess I was expecting more. Mm-hmm. But I do appreciate how the last 2 episodes have had more of that in comparison to the first 2 episodes.
Anyway, now on to the main point of today.
No. I watched a couple things.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Or a week ago. I don't remember. My roommate invited some people over and we saw a couple movies. The second movie we watched was Atlantis.
Atlantis, the animated movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought the designs were cool. Story isn't that bad. I think like in terms of story,
okay.
I thought in terms of story I liked Emperor's New Groove better, but the designs of Atlantis were really cool.
Like I think that this is one of those films that I think should have the live action adaptation because the designs look so good versus what we've been getting, which is just.
Oh, I hate how much I love that.
I know. This is like one of the only ones where I really want that live action adaptation, but they're doing every other film.
I want that now.
I know.
I hate you, John. I love that.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, we watched Christopher Nolan's Memento.
Mm-hmm. What did you think?
Well, first off, like, you know, after watching Inception, I was almost like, I really want to watch this again. You know, remember, right?
Oh, yeah.
With Memento, it's not so much of a, I love this, I want to watch it again. It's more like, oh, frick, I want to put these pieces together because I need to watch it again.
Yeah, the way the story is told is like, oh, very interesting.
I love the way it was told. It's really cool. Like it's crazy to see like just that was Christopher Nolan back then with his limited budget, and that's what he was able to do. Like that's
Tell a
incredible.
story backwards.
Yeah, and he did it so well.
Mm.
But at the same time, it's a lot of a movie. You know what I mean? And so honestly, I can't say I loved it. You know what I mean?
I don't love it. I like it.
I find it fascinating more than me enjoying it.
Yeah, it's really fascinating.
Yeah, so definitely want to watch it again to try to like understand what was going on. But yeah, still, it was a very interesting experience. Just really cool to see the way he's always liked to tell his stories. He always loves his element of time, and I love it.
Time is so important in every one of his films, even Dunkirk.
I still need to watch Prestige and Dunkirk.
Is time? I guess. Yeah. I guess. Dunkirk. I think the time makes more sense on a rewatch because you don't notice it when you see it the first time.
Well, exciting. Yeah, so that's my little spiel on that.
Cool.
All right, main event.
D23.
Could I just say one thing out of the gate? I think especially after Comic-Con, I think I was expecting too much.
In terms of Marvel, yes.
Yeah.
Star Wars, I got mostly.
Okay, even with Star Wars, I was hoping for a movie announcement.
I wasn't expecting one.
Really?
Because like, I knew
I
that
guess I don't
knew that
understand
the
Star Wars
next
politics
film
as
was
well.
is being pushed back. Like it's likely not gonna release until 25 at this point, when it was supposed to come out this next year. So, no, it makes sense because like they would have nothing at this point because Patty Jenkins is still busy, the director that they have for that film. So I wasn't expecting that one. We got 3 trailers for Star Wars. Did we? An Andor one, which is like another Andor one. We got Mandalorian, which I wasn't expecting to be this soon to get the trailer. And we got the trailer for Tales of the Jedi, which I forgot that we were supposed to get a trailer for that.
Yeah. Are you excited about it?
I'm excited. It's next month, which is cool. But the downside is the Bad Batch being pushed all the way to January. Like I rewatched the first season because I thought, oh, it's gonna come out in 3 weeks. And no, it's all the way in January. I'm so bummed out about that. January. Why not December? Which probably means that Mandalorian is being pushed back another month or two because that's supposed to be February. All the teasers just said 23. So we'll see. We didn't even get a Bad Batch trailer.
Oh, really? Oh,
No.
I didn't realize that.
That was the one thing I was expecting, a Bad Batch trailer. But no, not even that. Just like, oh yeah, it's happening in January. It's like, what? Well, you got 2 episode premiere.
Of course we do.
So I'm bummed out about that because I was really looking forward to that.
They shouldn't announce like months until they really have it in the bag. You know what I mean?
Right. But we have Andor coming into.
But even that was delayed a month. You know what I mean?
It was, but like it's here.
Yeah.
It's here. I'm gonna see it. It's fun.
I feel like that's why they've been pushing so many like teases because they delayed it a month.
Yeah, that was like the big announcements for Star Wars. Like a couple of minor things was they had like the poster design for Jedi Younglings, which is a kid cartoon. Padawans or something. Everyone's online is joking about like, oh, what's the point? We all know how it's gonna end, thinking it's gonna be an Anakin, but
Mm-hmm.
everyone's wrong because if you actually took a second to look at the characters and their clothing, that's High Republic, which is hundreds of years before,
Mm-hmm.
which is more interesting about that. It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that. I don't care, but I'm intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was a brief thing with Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see any footage, but they showed some stuff there. Harrison officially announced that this is his last one, and he was emotional about it as well. So we'll see. I hope it's good. John Williams, the composer, was at a concert, and he's like, you know what? Let me show you a little tease about a theme I made for this new film. And he performed a theme for the new Indiana Jones film at live, which sounds great. I I hope the film is good. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
So Marvel,
Well, just one thing.
hmm.
Pixar. They announced Inside Out 2.
Right? I haven't seen the first one, so I don't really
Oh,
care.
you haven't? Okay. So I guess, I mean, I haven't either. But just from what I feel like I know about Inside Out, I was never expecting the sequel.
Right. There's a great thing for you though. Wally being part of the Criterion collection.
Okay, I saw something about that. What's this collection thing? I don't know what
So
this is.
so the Criterion collection is like is an honorable thing for films for the best films in the world.
Okay.
So the Criterion collection essentially uh, they just get all of these films, put a label on it, and they protect these films for like years in the future.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Criterion Collection is dedicated to gathering the greatest films from around the world and publishing them in like Blu-ray and Ultra HD stuff
Mhm.
um, to enhance the thing of art. But essentially, it's like it keeps tracks of what the best films are, and Wall-E is the first Pixar film to be selected for that.
Mhm.
So it's cool.
Yeah, no, it is cool. I didn't know what that collection was, um, but I did see it trending. I'm not crazy about the cover art they used for it, but
Mm.
the fact that they see it as a high class movie makes me very happy because
Yeah,
I think it is.
you probably have more information on Marvel news than I do because
Oh,
I just know
okay,
the trailers. I just watched the
okay.
trailers. I didn't listen to
Well,
anything else.
well, yeah. Let's talk about the trailers
Okay, what did we have
first.
again?
We had Werewolf and Secret Invasion.
Okay. Oh no, no.
Oh,
Before any of that, they had a panel to like announce their Marvel games and stuff.
yes. Okay. There's one that they announced that I think the concept's really cool.
Is it the Captain America and Black Panther?
Yes.
Right. Besides that, I was very disappointed
Mm.
because I was expecting them to reveal more about their new Spider-Man game
Mm.
that we've been waiting a while now, and their
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine game that they're making. But none of
Mm.
that. Which is like, why? What? Those are games. They're coming up. People are excited.
Mm-hmm.
Why you not tell us in this panel specifically made for Marvel video games? Yeah. So that was the only thing that I found mildly interesting, but I was just like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this is cool, but I'm still wanting my other stuff too.
Right. Well, do you feel like that this event was almost promising too much and it didn't deliver in general, or?
Mm, I wouldn't say it was promising too much. Um, we did not get a casting for Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I was expecting that.
That was a little bit of a bummer, even though there was a rumor about Sue Storm casting.
hmm Do you like that rumor?
She looks exactly like the art, so hey, I wouldn't mind it. I have no
hmm
idea what she is. Um, but no, there was a casting announcement
Well,
for
Jodie Comer was in Killing Eve. I think that's her biggest thing. She was also in
I
Free Guy.
I don't okay, but they had an announcement for a character in a Star Wars show. I don't think it was like officially from the panel, but it was just like something that came out.
hmm
I'm very disappointed that that was revealed because that's technically supposed to be a finale type character.
hmm
It's supposed to be a secret, even though we all know it's going to happen. So
hmm
it's not supposed to be revealed, but it is.
hmm
Um, am I disappointed? No, because we all knew it was going to happen. But mm, you kind of wish they didn't do that.
hmm
It's not their fault. People just find that characters are casted. Like, oh, hey, he's casted.
hmm
I guess it's official.
Real quick,
Hmm.
um, the No Way Home extended cut, um, which I'm hearing most of the additions are of like the first act.
I've seen a couple clips.
Oh, have you? I actually haven't.
Okay.
What I was really intrigued about is the fact that they it makes sense. They replaced the Multiverse of Madness trailer with a post-credit scene, an actual one,
It's not that much of a post-credit scene.
but still something.
It's still
What?
something.
I kind of wanted to see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that'd be. I think it's cool that they actually had something that is like, oh, we actually saw something about the spell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, because I think a
Something
lot
I
of people.
think
Mhm,
that I learned was that Venom was supposed to have a bigger role in the film,
mhm,
in that the symbiote was gonna transfer to Toby, and they had to fight an evil Toby or
mhm.
something. Sounds too much and a bit wild.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad they didn't go down. As much as that would have been really interesting, that feels more like a what if episode.
It's just like there's already so much going on, and that's
Yeah,
just another one.
yeah.
Even though I love it,
hmm
but still. Anyway,
Well,
announcements.
and then with the Captain America and the Black Panther video game, do you feel like that's a good team up?
Honestly, I think I would prefer Captain America and Logan.
You know what? Because
Both the
I
two.
thought about that like 5 minutes later, like, oh wait.
It's like they did team up during that time, and
hmm
I really want to see that. Like I hope we see Logan in the game.
Right.
Black
I
Panther.
want.
It was kind of random, but sure.
It is a little random. I was wondering, oh, is it because they're working on that Wolverine game that they decide not to do that?
I hope not. I hope like at least like a cameo.
hmm All right. So, what's your thoughts on the Werewolf at Night um trailer?
I mean, it's stylized. I wasn't really. I'm not really intrigued.
hmm
I'm gonna watch it. I like
Yeah.
that it's being stylized for these classic old films,
hmm
but it doesn't really look amazing to me.
Yeah.
We did get like a single frame of of a character called Man Thing, which I was wondering that they were going to get to that at some point, but it looks like we are. I'm intrigued to see how they do that. Which is pretty much a rip-off of Swamp Thing, but
Yeah. I'm not necessarily looking forward to it, but I'll watch it kind of thing.
It'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting. And then Secret Invasion trailer. It's teaser trailer.
Took itself seriously. But, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to be disappointed with the tone. I hope I'm not disappointed with the tone.
I'm not going to lie, man. I think that the boosted my hopes too high. It boosted my hopes. Not that my hopes were high, because my hopes have crashed. I thought the trailer looked pretty good. And now, and then later I was thinking, well, they've botched their other shows. I really hope they don't botch this.
Right.
Because this has so much potential.
It's also like they're already slightly botching the story, because the story isn't in a grander scale in the comics, because you have superheroes being replaced. Here it's like more of a spy, just some agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I texted you about. This show could possibly be the nail of the coffin for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because the story, there's an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. character who's important to the story, at least in the comics. And then there's Emilia Clarke, an actress, who's in the show. And I look at her character and I'm thinking, she could be a recast of that character.
Are you talking specifically Daisy or someone else?
Daisy, yeah. Because I'm looking at her design, it's like, she could be a Daisy.
Yeah, I see where you're coming at. We'll see.
We'll see. They could just surprise us and have Daisy actually be there.
Yeah.
Which will feed the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans
a little too much.
Validate them. But
you know what? I kind of hope it does both. I hope it officially makes Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. non-canon while throwing in a few Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. things.
But I do like Chloe Bennett as Daisy.
Yeah.
I do like her.
I really hope it's good. I really hope so. I think the main issue is going to be the pacing. Just because that has been essentially
it's a show.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have some issues.
Yeah. I mean, that has been the issues with like all the other shows. So I feel like this will be its downfall. I feel like it'll be nice to have a story that we know will actually push the MCU forward. But I am concerned about the pacing. But I really hope this is a good show. I really hope so.
What if season 2 is next year, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, looking at next year, we got like a few things I'm kind of excited about. Secret Invasion, I just talked about that. Ant-Man 3 will also push the MCU forward in terms of its story. So I'm excited on that aspect. We'll see how well it's executed. And then Guardians of the Galaxy 3, because I just think that's just going to be good story. And I just want a good story.
Holiday special this year, aren't we?
Yeah, so that's one thing I was going to mention. James Gunn says it's going to run around 40 minutes, which I think is a pretty decent time.
Right.
Yeah, that is still happening. I was a little surprised they didn't mention it there, but it is what it is.
We're probably going to get a teaser in November.
Probably.
Yeah, if we just now got the Werewolf by Night teaser September, less than a month, or just exactly a month for that show to come out, they're probably going to do the same with the Christmas special.
Yeah. I guess I just maybe almost would have liked a little acknowledgement, but I guess they didn't have to acknowledge it. But whatever. Let's see.
And then, like, of course, like they just like re-announced the exact same things, the shows and stuff, like Ironheart and Daredevil. Armor Wars, they finally brought out Armor Wars.
Finally. So Armor Wars will follow Secret Invasion in terms of storyline.
Yeah, probably.
That's what I'm seeing from what was said there. So
I'm curious how they're gonna do it,
mhm.
considering after watching the Iron Man show, which they had the arc in the show.
Hmm. Um. So yeah, they showed a handful of clips. You sent me the photo. I think the
Thunderbolts.
one of the biggest pieces of news were the Thunderbolts. Um, so we got
Thunderbolts and a villain.
4 Thunderbolts.
I don't know if it was for Thunderbolts, but a villain, the leader, is returning. It's finally
Yes. So
coming.
I'll get to the okay. So the leader will be the main villain of the new Captain America movie.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Which
Makes sense, considering the character.
okay. I'm pleasantly surprised that you know, they're
Yeah.
keeping Incredible Hulk canon. Like, I think that's exciting on those grounds. You know what I mean? Not to say I love the character or looking forward to that kind of thing, but like, I think it's exciting that they're giving the actor his second chance, essentially. Not that he botched his first chance, but the fact that he initially wasn't given his sequel, and now he is. So like, that's really exciting for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
And for Thunderbolts, we got this promotional image with our lineup of characters.
Mhm.
I was
We got
I was a bit disappointed with this.
so we got Val, we got Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp, uh, got Red Guardian Yelena, we got Bucky, we got U.S. Agent, and we got Taskmaster.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing I'm most bummed about is Bucky.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more disappointed that we're not gonna get Red Hulk, or if
A
we
lot of
are,
people have been saying that.
but still, I think the thing that's making me more disappointed is that the more that I look at these lineup, it's like these are pretty much all the exact same people in terms of abilities, except for Ghost.
Yeah, we have
If you really
3
think about
people
it,
with
they're
shields.
all more hand-to-hand combat people with
Mhm.
similar styles and
Well,
weapons.
isn't same with Ghost?
Same with Ghost, but Ghost actually is a ghost. Or
Well, but
maybe not if the quantum
exactly.
thing. Oh no!
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see. I, as I just hate that they're taking Bucky down the storyline because I would have liked to see him in like the Captain America movie or something.
Oh, we might still.
We might, but might not.
Like, I think that was pointed out is that people are saying like this is essentially Marvel's Suicide Squad.
Hmm.
But like they also says like all of these characters are redeemed
Hmm.
versus Suicide Squad, or what they should be is just villains.
Well, the one character who isn't redeemed is U.S. Agent to a degree.
But he was redeemed.
Was he? How?
Yeah.
He was disgraced. He was picked up by Val. That's his redemption. Is that what you're calling his redemption?
His redemption came near the end when he realized some of his mistakes. He's a semi-redeemed character, essentially. Yeah,
Okay.
we got to rewatch this show. Not really,
I
but
don't wanna.
mm,
Well, not just to rewatch it. Like when I go through my MCU again but I kind of want to do my Star Wars thing first.
people
But
are
I also
shipping
don't want to.
Bucky and Yelena
That's hilarious.
just by looking at
They
this image.
are?
They're like, oh my goodness, those two look great together. That would be
Why?
interesting. That would be interesting to see, though.
I think at the end of the day, it just matters how they'll do the story. You know what I mean?
I don't really care.
I mean, I kind of don't either, but at the same time, like, if they can tell a good story, because that's what I've always loved about the MCU.
Right.
And then
I mean,
Phase 4 sucked at stories. I feel like Phase 5 will have some better stories, but at the same time, who knows?
they kind of screwed up Taskmaster.
So, like, it's gonna be curious, like, how are they gonna take her story? So, and then who's really gonna lead the team? Is it gonna be Yelena or Val? Because they put Yelena right in the middle here, and Val's just staring in the background. So,
Val is probably going to be the one to organize and say, "This is your mission, Yelena. You're in charge."
guess that makes sense.
That's probably what's going to happen.
I guess I didn't see that. Now I think also we'll see if they will introduce other people.
I hope they do, like new people.
Mm-hmm.
Because these are just like old people.
Yeah. So, just looking. It seems like that one character in Falcon Winter Soldier, the guy who was like helping Sam Wilson with a few things, he didn't have a lot of screen time.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the informant. Do you remember?
Yeah.
It seems like he's going to be the new Falcon.
It's kind of redundant because Falcon is Captain America and Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
We got some more.
Are you aware of a character named Sabra?
No.
No. Okay, she's an Israeli superhero, and she's gonna make her debut in Captain America 4.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Of course, because you're a little racist.
Well, no, it's like I have no idea who this character is.
Yeah, I get that. Here's the thing.
I'm still
It
waiting
all
for
comes down to good
Fantastic
stories.
Four.
Huh?
I'm still just waiting for X-Men and Fantastic Four. Those are like really the only characters I really care about coming into the MCU.
Yeah. It is really interesting how. What's up with the Fantastic Four thing? Like,
I mean,
when are they gonna announce that? Like, not necessarily just when, how. You know what I mean? Because Comic-Con, D23 seemed like the perfect places to do it.
do we have an investor day this year?
Why would you do that at Investor Day?
For your investors. I mean, like, hey, this is our cast. Invest in our projects.
Maybe. Because especially since the Jodie Comer thing, like rumors started happening like a couple days before D23. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, they're gonna announce it, and then they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess I feel like at the end of the day, I was expecting more. Like we got so much from Comic Con, and then there's something or somebody that said expect more at D23, and especially since we didn't get the Fantastic Four. What a letdown, honestly.
Yeah, briefly going back to Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Something that is being brought up that like we're curious about is who is gonna play the role of Yoda in the animated stuff, or if he's even gonna speak in the Tales of the Jedi, because the main actor who did the voice of Yoda in the animated shows suffered a stroke and retired because he lost his voice.
Mm.
And he's really been the only animated voice of Yoda in the past 20 years.
We'll find out.
Are they going to bring back Frank Oz, the original Yoda, or someone new? And who? We don't know. We've not had anyone new ever.
And everyone dies at some point, so I feel like they'd have to bring in somebody new.
I know. So it's going to be interesting, like how they're going to play things differently. Was there any more Marvel announcements?
There were probably like tiny things here and there that I didn't feel like mentioning.
Mm.
So, no. Because
Yeah.
I feel like most of the stuff where we'll show you these exclusive clips that we're not going to show anybody else. At least we got like the trailer for Secret Invasion, which I liked a lot. But nope, not a lot.
Yeah. We also got some trailers for other Disney Plus shows in general. Like we finally got their trailer for the National Treasure show.
I think Willow as well.
We get Willow, which is another one. I was just thinking, it's like, like without Bad Batch, what's left for the rest of the year? And it's like, oh, Willow's November. Okay, that's gonna go a bit. We also the thing I'm most surprised about with what they announced was the Santa Clauses show.
Did you know about that?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh wow.
I don't know if I want this. I was fine with them ending the trilogy where it was, and doing this. It's just kind of, what do you do? But not connected to D23. Assassin's Creed also made some announcements for future stuff. Netflix is developing a live-action show, which should be interesting. They announced their brand new game, which is called Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is set somewhere. Budapest or something? I don't know. Some Middle Eastern place. But they also announced a couple more Assassin's Creed stuff, which I was really surprised about. They teased a game called Assassin's Creed Codename Red, which is set in feudal Japan, which fans have been telling them make this game for years now. And we're finally getting that.
Finally doing it.
They're finally doing it. I hope it's good. They also announced something called Codename Jade, which is set in China. And it's like, oh, great, but it's a mobile game, which is disappointing. And then they had this cryptic one called Codename Hex, which we're trying to figure out. People are trying to figure out what it's about, because it could be about the Salem witch trials. It could be in Transylvania, but I think what it's going to be, it's set in a time in Germany about witches. So we're trying to figure out what this is about. So those were those. You don't care anything about these things, but I thought
I don't.
I'd point it out. You know,
Yeah.
it brings me excited for Assassin's Creed again after years of not caring. Willow, sure.
I don't know. You brought it up initially, so
yeah, Willow. I saw the show. I saw the film. It was okay. It's years old. Oh yeah, we have a king now.
Oh, sorry. One other Disney thing before that. Sorry. They announced a prequel to the live-action Lion King. Did you see that?
I saw that.
What do you feel about that?
See, there's already a prequel to Lion King called The Lion Guard. It's a 2D animated show about Mufasa as a kid.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and people enjoyed that show. So I don't care about this live action thing.
I guess I was just surprised that
If
they're
it's
like,
James Earl Jones, which I doubt it's going to be, it'd be interesting.
I was just kind of surprised that they're doing another one.
Yeah, another one after. Oh, Little Mermaid. That was
Mm-hmm.
a teaser that they released.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't like the color palette.
Of the movie,
No, the teaser that they showed. Because it's just so bland looking.
is it? I
Yeah,
didn't watch the trailer.
it's the colors are muted. Yeah, underwater looks like that, but like
Mm-hmm.
what made Little Mermaid great was the colorfulness.
Mm.
I'm sure they nailed the singing,
Mm-hmm.
but like
I think they got a good vocalist there, so
they
that's
did,
cool.
but like it just looks so bland.
Hmm.
We also got the trailer for Disenchanted, the sequel to Enchanted.
I don't know what Enchanted is.
Enchanted was a good film,
Okay.
but I didn't really care about Disenchanted
Hmm.
because it's years too late.
Hmm. All right. The Queen is dead.
Long live the king.
Okay, I legitimately hate how funny the memes have been.
I'm not laughing at any of the memes because it's sad that we're joking about this.
It is, but here's the unfortunate thing: if something is funny, you laugh. You know what I mean? And I've seen way too many funny things, and I hate how much I've been laughing about.
They
And
announced a Haunted Mansion live action film, which they already have one.
oh, so you already, so you're done with the topic about the Queen?
Well, I was just reverting back because I just remembered this.
Okay, Haunted Mansion. I don't know what that is.
It's a ride at Disney World.
Oh, so they're making a movie on it.
They already did.
Wait, they already did. So
Yeah,
you said they're doing a
like
sequel?
in early no, it's a remake. They
A
did it in
remake.
early 2000s. They made a film. It was
Mhm.
not very good. I guess they're doing a remake. Why? I don't know.
Mhm. This is kind of interesting in concept. Uh, Next year, Disney Animated will be releasing a movie called Wish, which is essentially a 100-year celebration of sorts. Um, I, I think like it's going to be like an actual movie, but it's celebrating the fact that Disney's 100 years in its own way. And especially if you think about Wish, like the whole Wish Upon a Star, like, oh, wow, that's kind of cool. I think like the concept of that is interesting. Don't know if I'll watch it, but
I'm not all that interested.
like, yeah, like I'm
It
not
just
planning to
looks like
watch
they're
it,
really stretching for content.
but like I think it's like, oh wow, they're gonna do a movie to commemorate 100 years. That's kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Did we really need a film?
Yes, because they're stretching for content. They need to make money. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Um, I had one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, the Pixel War thing.
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing. I I doubt you'd ever watch that. It's an
I
hour
mean,
long.
oh, is it? Yeah, I
Yes.
really don't think I'll.
No. But you know, it's interesting. It's fun. The
Mm-hmm.
dramatization of the events that took place, of the r/place
Mm-hmm.
thing. So came out, was fun,
Mm-hmm.
enjoyable, cool. Um. So yeah, anything else?
I don't know, man. Like, what else is there in life? We had Comic Con, we had D23, we got an investors meeting, but like, there's nothing else to look forward to. The announcements are more exciting than the products, but now we have no more announcements to look forward to. John, what are we going to talk about until the next D23 in like 5 years? Like, what are we going to do, John?
Investor Day. Nothing's going to be announced, but still, Investor Day. Talk about the same thing we always talk about. Whatever I've been watching.
Oh wait, I guess we could briefly touch on the emotional mix.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah,
Your first listen through of that.
and my first listen to it, I
Mhm.
really enjoyed it. Um, Here's some thoughts I have.
Okay.
Let me pull up the list.
Yeah.
Again, sorry, what?
Yeah. Let me just give off the names of this list. The emotional mix. It's a mix based upon music that either I have emotional reaction or the music is based upon emotional events happening in the story. The point is, it's emotional. So I have 13 songs. First off, we have Level Plaguing Field from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Ballet Breakup from Red vs. Blue Season 10, There's No Place Like Home from Lost Season 4, The Ultimate Price from Violet Evergarden, Stuff We Did from Up, Foreign Ox from Doctor Who, Your Father Would Be Proud by Rogue One, The Immolation Scene from Revenge of the Sith, Blood on the Pavement from Sherlock, Owen's Theme from Torchwood, Life and Death from Lost, Letting Go from Super 8, and Paradise Found from More of the Planet of the Apes.
Um, so initially, there's one track on here I didn't like.
Okay, let's guess.
Owen's theme.
I figured that would be the one.
Yeah, I like. I bet in the context of the show or whatever, that'd be cool.
Hmm.
There was a bit of repetition with the track,
It is very
but
repetitive.
also it's a very dated sound,
It is. This is
and and considering
2000,
all things,
2007, I think, 2008.
mhm, considering all things, it just didn't fit in with everything,
Mm.
in my opinion.
Yeah,
So,
I do know the context of the show.
hmm
So like Owen's theme, this specific song plays where he's at a point where he's just really given up.
hmm
Spoilers for you who have not seen Torchwood. The character died, but was brought back to life, but his body is still dead. So he doesn't feel anything. And so he's just being reckless at this moment, not protecting himself, and just going all out. And the theme is like him going around in this thing that was like done in a one take, one shot action scene. Um, it was like one of the only themes that caught my attention from the show, so that's why I consider it a good emotional theme.
hmm
Um, but something that I found interesting when doing this list is that the theme is very similar to the Ultimate Price from Violet Evergarden. I don't think you would catch that, but
yeah, I don't think I did.
mm,
Um, I also thought it was interesting with the Life and Death track from Lost,
mhm.
the way it ends.
Yes,
Yes,
it's an interesting ending for
yes,
sure.
which is really cool on two ends. Number one, makes me curious what happens in the show at that moment, and then number two, the fact that it's not the last track on your playlist.
You think it would be the last track on my playlist?
I mean, you're not like the other girls, so I guess I probably should have thought better about that.
What?
But
What are you talking about?
you're unique, John. That's what. And I
I
should have remembered that you're unique.
I don't get what you mean. I'm missing something here.
It's I bet it's used outside my workplace, but sometimes joke about my roommate Shepard. It's like he's not like the other girls.
Okay.
It's just funny because especially like there's a handful of girls that just all seem to look and act the same. You know what I mean?
Do you
And
know?
then there's that one girl who's like, I'm not like the other girls, and she probably is. You know?
Do you know the track "Time" from Inception
Yes.
and how that track is used in so many videos that has nothing to do with that film? like that church video that you're talking about.
Yeah,
The same is with that track, Life and Death.
really.
Any emotional thing you have, you use this song.
Why?
It's it, I this was one of my favorite tracks.
No,
It's a,
no, I'm saying cool that you like it. I'm just saying, why does it have to be misused? That's all.
because they want to have an emotional song, and this is at the time when this came out was the most emotional song you could have.
Mm-hmm.
That's instantly recognizable as emotion. You notice, I'm sure you noticed that Michael Giacchino
Yeah.
is all over this playlist.
Yes.
He is the emotional guy in everything he does.
Okay, I'm really curious. What is Super 8 about? I've never heard of that movie.
Super 8 is part of it is about this kid whose mother had just passed away. So that's a lot of this film is like him and his father grieving over it and moving on. Other part of it is Super 8 refers to the Super 8 camera, which kids could use in film. So a group of kids are just making their own short film. So this film is like set in like 1979, 1980s, similar to Stranger Things. Um, but they uncover a secret government thing where a giant alien is unleashed, and so they're just caught in the middle of it.
Interesting.
And this is the emotional track that goes with it. This is actually the ending of the film,
Interesting.
where letting go refers to him letting go of his mom. So
Cool. So, if you want me to listen to this again, I can. I don't. Maybe I'll try to find tracks I specifically liked because
yeah,
I
probably one
enjoyed.
more listen through.
Yeah, yeah, I did enjoy it as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. So now I guess to more or less like find a few specific tracks I really did enjoy. So
Yeah,
yeah, so we'll do that next time.
hopefully next time.
Hopefully next time.
Because
But now that, well,
I
here's the thing.
really
Now
do
that
want to
I've
get to the
actually
next
listened
mix.
to it,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little easier to go back to.
Right.
So sorry, I was cutting you off. What were you saying?
I'm really excited for the next mix.
Oh, what's the next mix?
It's my guilty pleasure mix.
Okay.
More
I feel
about
like I
that
should
next.
be. I feel like I should be scared about that one.
You should be.
Oh no! Why, John? How long is that?
Oh, I think it's only 10 songs.
Good. I wish I could think of a guilty pleasures playlist for you, but I really don't feel that guilty about most music I listen to. So
You're gonna cringe so hard. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's a couple good songs that you'd probably enjoy, but like the first couple, you're gonna have trouble with. That
John,
first
if you torture me enough, I would want to torture you back.
the first song is the
Please
ultimate guilty pleasure song.
John, if you torture me so hard with this, I am threatening to torture you back. Okay?
Okay, all you have is words, because I still haven't seen your K-pop mix in
I hate you, John! Wow! Wow! Oh my gosh! Oh, oh my gosh, John. I hate you for that. Wow.
You gotta prove it, not with your words, but with your actions.
Okay, John. I will eventually.
You wanna in 2 years.
In 2 years. Wow, I can't remember the last time I was roasted so hard. I'd love that. Oh wow.
And that's a good way to end today's
That's a
episode.
good way to end this.
Yeah, in a good
All right.
mood. All right, we talked about the main stuff. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.